many people watch our YouTube. It's going to Periscope soon.
All right. So,
well, Periscope's compatible with Twitter.
Yes.
So,
right.
I want to talk to you about that.
Yeah. Talk about whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw what I wrote. Tonight we have Sarah Lovell. She is a model, an author, talk show host, and a voice of victims of domestic violence and human trafficking. She's not afraid to shine light on the gritty underworld of addiction and what women go through. She is proof that we do recover. We are blessed to have her on tonight. Is that all right?
Good. Are we live?
We will be in...
we're live on YouTube, actually.
3,
aren't we? Yeah.
2, 1.
All right. What's up, guys? It's the Life on Life's Terms podcast, and I'm Tom Robinson, a grateful recovering addict. And like I always say, we're not affiliated with any 12-step programs. And, you know, it occurred to me the other day that I think if you look at what's going on, everybody's walking around with a phone in their pocket or in their hand, right? Mm-hmm. You know, obviously we need an addition to just 12-step fellowships. We need an online presence. People are getting information from online, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's the point.
I am Chris Mandeville. I am a heroin addict in recovery. We are here at a New Way Recovery Center in Quincy, Mass. On Quincy Ave. If you're in the area, you're looking for resources, you're in treatment around the area, they have lots of things that you can do here. Computers. Right now there's a women's nurturing meeting going on. And you can find us on LOLTERMS.com. You can like, subscribe, share this video. You can share this now. That would be appreciated.
It would. Please subscribe to the audio podcast.
Yes.
Subscribe and share.
Yeah, we're on Spotify. We are on Google Play, Apple Podcasts. You can find us everywhere.
Wow.
And tonight we have is it Lovell?
It's Lovell.
Okay. I didn't know if it was Lovell or
not
Lavelle.
Lavelle.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
You got to put the emphasis on the right
Yes.
syllable.
Yes. We have Sarah Lovell, who is also in recovery.
Yeah.
And she's going to share her experience, strength, and hope with us.
So
ready, go.
Yeah, ready, set, go.
Yes.
Like Chris said, my name is Sarah Lovell. I am an addict in recovery as well. I have 14 years, and
Woo.
it's craziness.
Me too. It? That's what I just got 14 last week.
It's wild because I think about all the time. Sometimes I'll be laying down in my bed and I just kind of looking at the ceiling. I remember there were nights and days when I would be like in a basement or something.
Oh yeah.
Or like abandoned building or outside behind a dumpster, just kind of sitting there and laying there or whatever and going, how do I not want to get high? Like, how do I do that? And I wish I could just, I used to always say, I wish I could just take a pill to make me not want to use.
I completely identify with that.
A weird thing to say now in recovery. However, I just could not imagine not using for 5 seconds, let alone 14 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't Suboxone make you not want to use? That's a pill, right? Or something?
Yeah. It's a strip.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't even want to go there.
All right.
Do we want to get into that discussion?
No. I think we should have an episode.
How did all those people stop watching suddenly?
With a professional in that field and have them address that.
Yeah, we'll get another microphone and we'll get two sides of that story. Yeah. I think it'd be a good thing.
I got a good therapist that's going to come on too. Like,
nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. People will say, "Hey, I need this," and she'll be like, no, you don't."
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she's good.
I shared something. I think a week ago. I saw an article about a drug that is what the heck was it? It was based on not Suboxone based. Something else based, but something that heroin addicts will use, or any addict would use to get high. And it's literally they're presenting it to the public as a treatment for depression.
Oh yeah.
And I went and I said, "What? Can I swear?"
Yes, absolutely.
I said, "What are they, fucking stupid?" Because they don't get it. And a woman, I had it on. I put it on my LinkedIn. Like, I don't care. Like I had to fight for a while to get through to like all the LinkedIn people, and finally it was like it just blew up. And this one woman came on and she said, "You know, you can't just expect us to not make treatments for people with depression because you know, she said, you and your people, she called us, you and your people, you know, can't use it. And I said, I made the comment, I said, I can already imagine myself getting this drug, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And getting it, finding a way to get it, going to the psychiatrist, getting it, using it, and abusing it, and lose everything within a week.
Yeah,
2
absolutely.
weeks. And it's just the way my addict brain works. It's just, and I chuckled a little because it just is what it is. It's not, you know, to be depressing,
right.
but it just is reality. And she was, and at the same time, I think that too, like they can't just not make, you know, things that are going to help people with depression, but depression being another underlying cause. You
Absolutely.
know? That's what it is. You know, depression more often than not is not caused by some sort of imbalance. You know, it's a life thing.
Yes.
You feel unhappy with society and the world. You know, and then you're like, oh, I can go get a pill and that'll change my mind about that. No.
Right. It's,
you know?
It doesn't change your makeup. It
no,
really,
there's lots of
masks it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they throw a medication at a lot of things that don't need to be.
We went down a rabbit hole before she even really
Yeah, she didn't even get to start.
No, it's fine. I'm like, rabbit hole?
I know. Excellent.
Sarah Level,
so,
right
yes,
to the rabbit hole.
Yes. So, you are a model, an author, you're in recovery, you have your own show.
I do. It's called The Sarah Level Show because it's all about me.
Yeah.
Nice.
At least you're honest about it.
Can I just say, I always tell this story. When I got the name of the show from my name, but I had a guy that I dated in early recovery, and he used to go, "What do you think? This is the Sarah Level Show?" So when as soon as I was like,
Nice.
I really want to have a radio show. What am I? Oh,
That
it is the
stayed
Sarah
that
Level
stayed
Show.
right here for years.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
And then when the time was right,
Absolutely.
it surfaced.
Out it came.
I get
Awesome.
resentments, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yeah. So I am a published author. I wrote a book about my life called One Body: My Story of Trauma and Survival. I wrote it when I was about 8 years clean and sober, and one of my daughters started going through some things, and she ended up. And I say being lured, without telling the entire story, into sex trafficking ring. And she was 14 when it started. And by the time I found out when she went missing for the very first time. And all the pain from that whole ordeal, which, mind you, lasted a couple of years altogether.
This was your daughter?
So my daughter. And
My God.
Yeah, she went missing. She just disappeared, didn't come home. And she was
That
gone.
is some pain.
Yeah, it was unreal. It was, and my heart was beating the whole time, like that fear, and not just fear like as a parent, but fear as someone who has lived a life.
Exactly. You know.
I was like, please God, I was begging, like, please God, please, and I thought that if I kept my children in this bubble, right, that they would never be touched by anything I had experienced. Yeah. And lo and behold, that is very clearly not the case.
Right. We try, and that's what we'd like, but it's life, and we are in a fucked up world.
Yeah. Oh, people. It's unbelievable.
Like what you see in the movies, that shit really happens.
It does happen.
Yeah.
It's not even. I say it all the time. I'm like, I've seen dead bodies. I could see one tomorrow or right now, and I would hurt for that person and their family, but I would not be surprised. Like, I wouldn't be grossed out. I wouldn't be like, oh my God. It's just because I've seen it, and I've seen it so many times, and I've seen girls get killed, and people that I was around, and I would say friends, but there are no friends.
Yeah.
In
And
that life.
like I've watched your videos, and like you didn't plan on writing a book.
No.
You just started writing.
Yeah. I had to.
Yeah.
The pain, like I was just saying, from what was happening to my daughter brought up years of things that had happened to me that I didn't go to therapy for. Like, when I got clean, they were like, yeah, you should journal. And I was like, right.
But from where you were to being clean and not living in that life was enough for you at that time.
It was enough for me at the time.
It sustained you for...
I had opened a business. I was doing... I had my own massage therapy business.
Was the father in the life still?
You mean her father?
Yeah.
My daughter's father? So, he's actually deceased now, but at the time, he had left and he had gone to prison, got out, broke my nose, gone back because he got 3 to 5 years. He went for 3, got out, came to my house, broke my nose, went back to jail for the rest of his term, got out, and then took off to Puerto Rico, like just left. He was like, I want to be with you. I said, I don't want to be with you, and he just disappeared. And I think I forget how old she was, but he just disappeared. So he was in Puerto Rico from that time until he died, probably, I'm just going to guess and say 6 years ago. So, but he lived that life. He sold drugs and, you know.
Now, did he have an influence on her, you think?
He wasn't in her life. He was not in her life. Even when she was small, he was around up until the time she was about 4 months old. But again, I met him in the life. He sold me drugs.
Yep.
Right.
And that's how I met him. And so, and it continued like that, and he didn't have a problem. And I don't want to I don't want to speak ill of the dead, despite he was abusive. And, but he stayed in that life. But he then took off. So he wasn't in her life. He didn't call her. He didn't talk to her.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything to do with her for many years. And then we didn't know that he had died. She was in treatment. She was in a locked facility, and her family reached out to me. They said, we've been trying to find you. He died a few years ago. He was in Puerto Rico, and this is the story, that he went out early in the morning to feed chickens, and he fell and impaled his head on a fence, on an iron fence, and then his house was ransacked. So,
the
chickens ran in the house.
And his gold was missing, and it is very messy, right? So there was no contact. He was basically not in her life, and so she didn't really know him at all. I mean, she knew of him, but there was no relationship really. So,
So she's just seeking comfort wherever.
Yeah. So
from drugs
now,
or whatever.
You were trying to protect your daughter, and you're in recovery, but she ended up in that anyways
using.
And I think she had depression anyway. Like, I always felt like you know what it is. It's like for me, something happened to me when I was 11. I was molested when I was 11. And so that twists your brain.
Yeah.
Just completely changes you and twists you. I know there are people who have never been abused that are still addicts and alcoholics. Okay. So I'm not saying that's why, but I think for me, I had something to deal with that was messing me up mentally. Right. And
it's a common thing, you know, there is a lot of people that's happened to, and there's a lot that it hasn't.
Right.
But it's always something deeper than just the alcohol and the drugs. You know
Well, and then when the first time I got alcohol in me, I was like, ooh, I drank a blackout very first time.
Oh, really?
And it was weird. So I was babysitting for my godparents. I hope they're not watching. I was babysitting who happened to be the pastor and his wife of our church. And I just was it's horrible. It's not funny that I was drinking while I was watching the children, which is, obviously a lot of things that I did that I'm very ashamed of. However, they had a liquor cabinet. They had all this liquor, and I got this big cup and poured all these liquors in it, and I didn't know about drinking. And I was just like, I downed it, and I just drank, and I blacked out. I puked all over their bathroom, and they
you're worried about them finding out. They know.
No. It's not that I don't.
They had to clean it up.
They knew, but I just sometimes there are certain, like you talk about some things, and people from my past watch, me when I'm on stuff, and they watch my show and they read my books, and so I try to be very sensitive and careful. I mean, I tell the truth. And then people know I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm pretty sure that's why my parents have disowned me, but it is what it is. I think the book, I think the book kind of did it for them.
Yeah.
But
so now,
that's another tough.
How old were you when this happened? Was this the first time you ever did anything? Yeah.
I think I always guess, but I'm really bad with like time and years and numbers.
Yeah, that happens.
Why my brain's fried. I think I was like 15. I was young, and I drank to blackout. And then ever since that rush and that feeling I got in my belly, it just quieted everything.
Yeah.
It was just like,
yep,
right.
This is wonderful.
The solution.
But of course, it's not like that rush isn't enough. You got to have more.
Yeah.
And then I started, I talk about it in the book, running away, searching and trying to find anything to fill that void that I had, because now my disease is activated, right? It's on. And so I'm going to find anything now. It's like, it's almost like it's like activated. Once I touched alcohol, then everything else was like,
the switch went on.
I'm doing this, I'm going to do that. Let's go. Come on. Sex, drugs,
chemical entertainment.
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was just like
it's like once you find
entertainment. It's so true.
Once you find out how to release the dopamines and all that, it's like you figure out everything that releases them. You
do, and you search it out.
Dopamine
Like I remember,
that's probably what we're.
I remember when I was younger, doing like knee bends and going up against the wall, and your friend pushes you on your chest, and you pass out.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
I used to lean over in school. I went to private school. Yeah. My parents thought that would fix me, and I would lean forward, put my head between my legs, and go, and then sit up and hold my throat and pass out in school. And they'd be like, "What's wrong?" I'd be like, "I don't know."
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I got to go to the nurse.
I got to go to the doctor. I go to the hospital.
Too. Yeah.
I loved going to the hospital. Loved it.
That was young.
You loved going to the hospital?
Loved it. I loved having to be in the hospital. I loved like anything. I don't know.
Attention.
Parents' attention.
Was it the attention?
People's attention.
You know what? I liked like the smell of the hospital. Anything dramatic and intense and bizarre, like outrageous.
Yeah.
Get you out of yourself.
She was admitted to the hospital. Like that statement for me was intense. So if I was admitted to the hospital, it was great.
Right.
Weird, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I can understand the thought process.
Exactly. Yeah. So
if you're unhappy in one state, you want to get a different state.
Yes.
So you need either chemicals, dramatic, dopamine.
Yeah, you need a catalyst. Yeah. So you need a catalyst to get there.
Anger, right? Your parents are going to try to punish you. You have to get angry about it. So I don't like what's going on right now. I'm going to act out so that I can get in an argument with my parents.
The fight. That's a Russian.
And then you're going to run away.
And then I can go do drugs.
Yeah.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So now you end up going through your whole addiction. How do you end up getting sober?
So I had been in the hospital. So I was a cutter. I would like when I would run out of shit, because I had to have drugs, I had to have liquor, I had to have both. Like I just had to have both. And so if I ran out of either one, I was like really imbalanced. So I always had both. And if I ran out of both, I would cut, because the second that anything wore off out of my system, I started feeling, and I would remember, and I would think, and I would feel all the things that I was trying to stuff, but also all the things that I had done and that had been done to me during my addiction. So all the things I had been
piling up.
Yeah,
worse things were happening.
Horrible things.
And
all the things I saw.
What age did you start cutting?
I think I started. I mean, like I was a cutter in addiction, but I wasn't a cutter as a kid. I was a pill taker. I would like go and take my grandmother's pills I would like overtake pills and end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like be sick. And I had to, my mom said that I had epilepsy, and so I had to take pills for that. And so I would like overtake those pills. Like I'd find them and take them. Like I just was even very, very young. I was like going in my grandmother's cabinet and taking like her blood pressure pills and like
whatever.
What the fuck is that gonna do? Like just to take it. And I believe maybe I would. It's funny because I don't talk about this very often, but I may have been 3 things, I think, looking to feel something from the pills.
Yeah.
Number 2, get the dramatization of me, having to pass out and everyone like worrying about me, which is gross.
Yeah.
But that's my truth. And the series I just did called Sarah Level Truth, because that's how I speak. I'm very direct about my recovery and the things that happened to me, the things I did. And so, but also, so that attention. But thirdly, like I told you, I liked being in the hospital. So just, I don't know.
So did the abuse happen prior to that grandmother blood pressure taking, pill taking?
Yeah,
event?
because I was about 11. So I was about 11 years old, and there was this. My parents are very, born again Christians at the time, and they helped this homeless guy, because this is why I always say, like, and I don't go to church because I still have an issue. It's not because I still have issues with it. I just, they wanted to help this guy who was homeless, and and where do homeless go? Like, where do we go? We go to the churches. When our kids are hungry, we go to soup kitchens, right? Because I had to do that. I was homeless too.
Yeah.
But this guy, my parents let him sleep at our house, and he was in the kitchen drinking something that was my dad's, and I forget what it was, but he came in my room and he molested me, and I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
God
I
damn.
didn't tell anyone until I was 30. I was still using, but I was like an adult. And my dad said, if I ever see him, I'm going to kill him. Well, he didn't say kill him. I think he said punch him. And my mother didn't believe me.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, she didn't believe me. And so that kind of killed me. She was like,
yeah.
What did she say?
It's like a betrayal.
It was so odd. Like, and your mother is your mother, and I love my mother very, very much. And that's just the fact. She didn't believe me, and so that's fine. I mean, it's not fine for me, but it is what it is, and I can't change that.
Right.
And I do not love her because she's my mother. Do you know what I mean? You just don't not love your mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no matter what.
Right.
I've heard guys
Absolutely.
talk about, like, their mom did stuff and I've met and seen women who have done horrific things. Like, I know a mother who let her boyfriend molest her daughter. The daughter told me about it.
Wow.
She said, my mom, she said, can I talk to you about something? I said, sure. And she said, I don't want you to tell anybody. She said, when I was little, when I was growing up, my mom's boyfriend used to come in the room, and
I've heard numerous stories about that.
I said, did you tell your mother? And she said, yes. And I said, what did she say? And the mother said, he's the only one bringing in money right now. And I said, I fucking want to kill this bitch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, I just, like that.
It just occurs to me. It's just like
but she still lives with her mom and loves her years later. Like, they're like, you see them together all the time. And so just saying that, my mother was never like that. She didn't allow this. She didn't know. She had no idea.
Right.
But it just occurs to me that the damage, if you didn't find out drugs and alcohol, maybe, you would have thought about suicide.
I would have killed myself.
Right?
I would have killed
like,
myself.
You see the damage that type of thing does to kids. It is like the most evil, corroding thing on the planet. Like, it is,
and it happens more often than you think.
Such an evil.
I have I would, you see people on social media going, I hate Facebook. I'm so sick of seeing these articles about, and they're getting more and more graphic, like these articles about kids being, abused, sexually abused.
Yeah.
And so I always say I'm an empath because I feel everything. Like, I feel other people's stuff. So I don't just know something, I feel it.
Right.
And so when I see things like that, I got to scroll past real fast because it will alter me. It will emotionally alter me for hours and days. And I will, like, go pick up Jaden and I'll be like, oh, my poor baby. Like, I'm like, I'm a protector. And so I actually have on my back a tattoo that I created with the artist. It's a woman, and it's like she's a hood. It's a hooded figure, and you could tell it's a woman, and she's got a sword drawn, and she's got all these children behind her, and her hand is like this, and she's kind of holding them all back behind her with her sword drawn, and it's me. Right, and then
so it's like a badass little Red Riding Hood.
It's like right, that's right. And there's a little girl in the back, up in the high corner of my shoulder, and she's giving everybody the finger, and that's also me. So,
right.
So it's very symbolic.
That's cool. Yeah.
And I tend to be protective, and kids don't make up stuff like that.
No. It's you'd be very hard pressed to find someone that would, a child that would make that up.
On the flip side, I have heard of bitter mothers making up things about their baby's father to keep him in trouble. So people are just messed up and disgusting.
Yeah. Yes, it's crazy. It is.
It's like this
we live in a fucked up world. We do. We live in a fucked up world.
No,
it's gross.
People are, we're all on. This is the way I look at it. We're all on this spiritual path where we're trying to learn and grow, and some people go the other way, and take a long time to turn around and never turn around. Some people, it's why we're here, though. I feel,
and some of that stuff is some serious mental illness as well.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
and a lot of it
stems from
generational.
Generations of
so it's like
abuse,
this happened to
behavior.
them, and this happened to them, and this happened to them, and
yeah. I mean, you look at what people will tolerate, and it's like, well, I mean, 2 generations ago or 3 generations ago, I mean, there was racism, women couldn't vote, all this stuff.
True.
And it seems like we're in a good direction, you know what I mean? And hopefully, we can get rid of that shit, that evil fucking child abuse shit. And I don't know if it was like this years ago, but those people who go to jail and people find out they were child abusers, they get taken care of. And, and I don't know if that's something new or what, but
I think that because there's more social media, we just see we're more aware of it. And again, like you said, women voting. So now we vote, right? So we speak out more. And so now women speak out more. So men speak out more. So now children speak out more. So it's now okay. And it's been made, someone at some point made the path and opened the path to say, hey, if someone's hurting you, say something. Right? So that's okay now. Years ago, you didn't talk about that.
No.
Exactly.
Like I didn't tell anybody.
No.
2 generations ago, it was all hush-hush. You know what I mean?
Correct.
If you had a baby out of wedlock, you were in trouble. You know what I mean?
That was from my mom.
Mine too.
Supposedly I have an older brother out there somewhere that I've never even met,
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, my mom's dead. I can't ask her. My grandparents would never talk about it.
Hit us up, bro. Life on Life Terms podcast.
Yeah, they. She passed away. She passed away before they did, so they would never address it. My uncles, nobody.
Even as what about as an adult?
I haven't looked.
Talk about it.
I've talked about this before. I fathered a child at 13, and she was given up for adoption. Thank God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Someday that'll happen, maybe. If not, whatever. So I get it. From what I understand, my mom was sent away to Catholic school or something is what they said it was.
Yeah.
And she was very young, and I don't know.
Well, it's true. If you've ever seen a movie about anything, we've lived it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much.
Anything.
Right. We cover it all over here,
Oh, man, it's crazy.
So, now you wrote this book, and it started out with just notebooks.
Oh, yeah.
Journaling, right?
The notebooks, yeah. And I actually finally... I had to.
Yeah.
It was almost like my soul forced me to purge.
I've been in that situation. I went through something last year, and I could talk about it.
Yeah.
But it was just still weighing on me, and I had to write it down.
Yeah.
And once I did, I felt better about the whole situation. You know what I mean? And
Well, that's good. It was good that you were able to do that. Like, I was choking on it, like choking on the emotions. And so I started writing, and the writing was fuck this, fuck that, fuck everybody. I hate this, I hate that. And that's how I had to start. And I had this friend, and she used to go, you've been through so much stuff, you should write a book. And I was like, right, whatever. Yeah, you keep thinking that. And then I kept writing and writing and writing and writing, and then I get another notebook and I write and I write and write. And I just looked up one day, and there were all these, and I went, oh, that's the book.
Yeah, and then you're thinking, like, but wow. When she said that, what were you thinking?
No,
I can't write a book.
I don't know how to write. I had no idea.
Right.
And I taught myself how to write. I Googled, because now I knew how to use a computer. Because I was saying earlier, I didn't touch a computer till 2005. And then when I really had to was when I went back to school in 06. And we went into the lab with the computers, and I was like, and I had made friends with this girl. She goes, I'll help you. Yeah. And she taught me I didn't know how to turn it on. And then I learned how to Google things. And so I Googled, how do you publish a book? Because I already wrote, and it was all scribbled, like they wasn't in chapters.
Yeah, so now you got to try and make some type of sense of it and put it in some type of order.
Did you do that yourself, or did you have somebody do it? Oh, you did?
So I did that myself. So what I did with all the notebooks was I ripped out all the pages, and I separated them into different stories. And different
and that way
topics and subjects.
You could figure out like the timeline of the whole thing.
Yeah, I made a timeline, right? Mm-hmm. And then I looked up how to publish a book. It says, you have to. The old school way is you send your book to a publisher. It's very hard to get picked up by a publisher. Yeah. Right. So they said, you had to write a query letter, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I said, how to write a query letter, and I taught myself how to do that. And I still have in my hard drive like all the old the synopsis, and I didn't know what that was, even though I had learned it. I didn't learn it in school. I heard it.
Yeah, right.
And then I went in the bathroom.
I read it.
Then I went in the bathroom and smoked Marlboros, and I just like, that's great synopsis.
Yeah.
So I taught myself all these things, and I ended up going through Amazon and self-publishing, but I didn't like do anything. I had to take all the chapters and then type them into a Word document. Yes. Which I didn't know how to use Word. I didn't know how to do any of that.
I still don't.
No,
I will show you.
Yeah.
I haven't opened anything.
But that's the.
But that's what I was doing. That's what and it became a passion. And I said, I'm going to tell my story.
Right, but when someone said you should write a book, you're like, yeah, whatever. I was like, and now was that because you didn't think that you could, or that you were good enough, or that your story was good enough to be told?
So you were just going to say my story was bullshit?
No. I wouldn't. No. I would never call bullshit on someone's story.
I call bullshit. Somebody tried to. So we're talking about the modeling. So the modeling is like stories, so I try to tell stories, and we create, like I have this person that I work with sometimes, but it's been for different reasons. Like I had a magazine wrote a story about my book and my life, and so we did a photo shoot for that, and that's kind of how it started. But I also being shamed my whole life or feeling very shamed by abusers. I didn't love myself at all. And so when I started realizing how beautiful I am, and any woman, and I want this for all women, realizing how precious and how beautiful and amazing a woman is.
And like you were told something for so long.
Oh yeah, shut up. And you're disgusting. You're gross. No one will ever want you.
I'll just share this.
Go.
It happens to guys too.
Oh yeah.
So I've experienced it. Yeah. Like I was in a dysfunctional relationship for 12 years, and at the end of that relationship, I had like no self-worth, no self-esteem, nothing. I was just getting into recovery. I had just gotten out of jail. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I get exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to unbelieve those things.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. When I was in turnabout and I had the counselor, I used to go around calling myself an idiot. all the
I
time.
still do that sometimes.
All the time. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot.
Yeah.
It was a voice directly from an old boss, my family member. And he said, that's really... I said, how can I stop doing that? And he said, that's really difficult. You have to, like, attack it proactively with, like, tell you... Instead of every time you want to say fucking idiot, say creative genius.
I love that.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Right?
Switch it around.
Yeah, he said switch it around. It's brutal. It runs so deep, and
Negative self-talk.
It goes back to...
I do it.
It goes back to the child, how you think of yourself. When you're a little kid, it stays with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or if
How
something
you're
is
told.
said to you, yes.
Yeah.
Like
what you're told.
At her age, up until from like 3 to 7 is like when
that's the personality.
when her brain is getting coded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Personality
the things that I
is
say
coded.
now, I have to think.
Before you say that.
Yeah. Because what I say, she's gonna remember.
The labels.
She hears, talking about my daughter, she hears something a month later. Do you remember? And it's like,
They never said that.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
But
Crazy.
so
That's crazy talk.
back another rabbit hole. So
Nice.
like negative self-talk and low self-esteem. What you've been told something for so
Yeah.
long, you
Yeah.
know, and you believe it.
Yeah.
So now
It
you're
becomes-
realizing, wow, I'm not a piece of shit.
Right.
I'm not ugly. I'm not disgusting.
You're already all right.
Yeah, that was something. Me and him went through the same treatment center,
Yeah.
and we used to say that
I
was
think
a
I'm
saying.
gonna
that,
have to go there now,
Yeah.
even at 14 years.
That was,
recovery. I need some of that.
that was something that we would say. You're already, you're all right. You're already all right.
Yeah.
Right.
I just, and I got a lot of hate when I started showing my, the modeling photos, even like when they weren't, and they tend to be dark. And it was, some of the things are dark and some of the things are great. I found one the other day and I shared it and I was like, oh, that looks like the time I joined a cult. Like I look like such a dork, but I made a joke out of it, right? I really
Right.
didn't join a cult.
But it's controversy, which you're like I said in the post, you're shining light on things that people don't want to fucking see.
Yeah.
They
And we
know it
should.
happens.
And why do
they
I have
know
to be
it's the
quiet?
elephant in the room, but they don't want to address it.
Yeah, and
know?
here's my thing: is I don't mind if people don't like what I'm saying or what I'm doing or what I'm showing or what I'm creating. I don't even give a fuck. But don't bother me while I'm doing it, and don't try to silence me, because there are women and men who have said to me, you saved my life. You helped me leave an abusive relationship.
Right.
You helped me leave my husband of 15 years who was beating me.
Right.
Okay.
All because
I wanted
of
to
a
kill
picture they
myself,
seen.
and you right. So don't attack someone just because. And people will never change.
No.
Negative people will never change. If they don't like something, it's a public face. Okay, well, it's public, so beat it. Right? Like
Yeah.
beat it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Seriously, and I have no problem telling anybody anything, because I say it all the time. What are you going to do that hasn't been done? But kill me.
Right.
And then I start getting like that the harder side of me comes out, because
The street side.
street side starts coming
Yeah.
out, because
Yeah.
don't mess with me, because I have a story to tell.
Right.
And the reason I tell it and I share, and this is also my process, like this is my healing. Whatever I do, as crazy as it may look to this, Joe Schmo over there, this is how I'm healing. And I like to let people see that it's okay, right?
Right.
It's okay. Who cares, right? So you took a picture in your bathing suit. So what? Or you did whatever it is. Like I went through this period where I was writing the second book, and there's human trafficking. The second book is a fiction, and so but it's all.
So what's
real.
the name of your first book?
First book is called One Body: My Story of Trauma and Survival.
Okay.
And the second book is actually coming out this spring. It is a fiction. However, it's all real stuff that happens to people.
Right.
The main character's name is Shia. She's a girl, and it sounds like the typical story where she goes through some stuff, some really bad stuff. There's sex in it, good sex, bad sex.
Yeah.
There's triumph, there's defeat, there's
it's
all kinds of shit.
It's fiction based on fact.
It's fiction. It is. It's fiction based on, things
Shit
that
really
actually
happens.
happens in life. Right. But we did a photo shoot, and so I don't know if you've seen some of the photos, not the recent ones, but there are the human trafficking shoot that we did
with the barcode.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a girl. I said, I want a barcode on my back. I said, and I want it to look bloody. And I want it to be real. And I want it to shock people. And I want people
makeup.
It was makeup,
Yeah.
And so some people were like, why would you do that to yourself? And I was like, it's none of your business.
Yeah,
if you want to learn, if you want to hear about it, fine. But don't attack me. And if you want to attack me, I'm good.
Well, sometimes
we can do this all day, right?
To get a point across to talk about something that's absolutely foul, maybe you have to be a little shocking, right?
Yeah, well, shock value, and that's just how I roll. It's how I work, and and everyone's like, oh, you just want attention? Yes, I want attention. I want to bring attention to what was it you said? Things that people
don't want to talk about.
That's right.
The elephant in the room.
That's right.
That's right.
And in my opinion, in my humble opinion, that's how you heal your communities. I feel like we can heal people one by one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the people that are around you, the people that are in earshot of you, and is it eye shot? No, but that are in your
eyesight.
Peripheral. Those are the people that you can help. So I can help people that see what I'm doing. Okay, so I have all this social media, and I've got LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter that hates me. Twitter hates me. I can't get a following on Twitter to save my life. I actually posted, I said, Twitter, why do you hate me? Nobody liked it or commented. So
or retweeted.
I think we have a legacy of sweeping that type of stuff under the rug.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what perpetuates it.
What does it create?
It creates more people. The next generation of abusers, the next generation of abused, the next generation of broken people, the next generation of people who can't talk about things because things are swept under the rug.
But is it like that?
Use to numb it.
Right. But is it like that in the rest of the
Yeah.
world? Or is it just like that here?
No, it's the whole
because but also I think in like a lot of the third world countries, people hear about that shit. It's fucking street justice. You're getting your fucking head cut off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
might be
different.
true.
This
a little different.
Culturally, I think.
Oh, you steal? Here, give me your fucking hand. Boom. See you later. You ain't
Yeah.
stealing no more.
I don't know though, because
But they
I think
might. But here's the other thing: like with a child, with a pedophile, they say, "Oh, cut off their junk," right?
Yeah.
They still have hands. Like I've said that. People go, "Oh, castrate them," really, because they still have hands,
Yeah.
and they still have their whole group of pedophile friends that they can get to come over and abuse a kid.
Like,
so
that's-
it's not. It's a disgusting mental, whatever it is, sickness. And I'm not saying it's a mental illness that should be excused. I'm saying it's something that is inside a person. So you can cut their shit off, but they're still in their heart and in their mind.
I believe it's a spirit.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's a spirit that's passed to people. You let it in.
It's in you,
It's
and
in
then
you.
it's just.
That's what I believe.
Yeah,
that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Mm.
And I don't disbelieve it or disagree with it at all. I think that's the first time. That's amazing. The first time I've heard that. It's so evil.
It's an
So
evil,
it's accurate that you say that.
demonic
It is. It's the most disgusting thing
thing.
because
So
it
you-
destroys. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So
That's what we're trying.
you're bringing light to things that people don't want to talk about.
Yeah, they get mad. People get mad.
And yes, I went through it today. There was I follow a page on Facebook, and a girl who had overdosed, and her video went viral.
Of her overdosing?
Of her overdosing, being overdosed. She, put up a post saying that she was now a year clean.
Okay.
And, no one has reached out to me since this video. You know what I mean? So then this guy comments underneath, was like, "Oh, you got attention from the first video. You want more attention? Fuck off, junkie." And I was like, and I was very nice. And I said, "I hope and pray that no one in your family ever needs a junkie who has turned their life around. God bless you and your family." And that's what I left it at. And then he retorted, and I left it alone.
Well,
but
see what you did right there? You stood up for her.
Yeah.
Now, when she saw that, and I don't know if this happens to you, but someone had said, we call it like getting hit, like that feeling in your belly, like,
yeah.
When she saw that, she probably felt that. Like, you could say something to someone and they'll relapse, or you say something to someone and they, you know.
Because I read another story about the girl. I don't know if you've seen the video. It went viral as well. The girl in Family Dollar, like her life, she has not come back from that. Like she stayed sober.
What girl at Family Dollar?
There's a girl that she overdosed in Family Dollar, had her daughter with her, and no one was helping the woman. They were just videotaping everything. She was overdosed on the floor with her child, and that's what was thrown out there. And, you know, she, you know, has had a shitty life since. She stayed sober, but it's been very tough for her to accomplish anything.
She got sober.
Yeah, she did get sober.
Well,
I think it's good for you that you spoke up and stood up for her, because that's important too. So there it is, the person speaking up and defending and standing up for someone who, I mean, did she say something to him? Like, fuck you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because she probably shrunk. And something I learned in early recovery was don't shrink from people.
Exactly. That's why we need to do things like this, because we can't sit there and just be anonymous and have the stigma continue. You know what I mean? We need to speak up a little bit. We need to get our voices out there. We need to be a group of people together.
And it's stigma for everything, for addiction, for abuse, for domestic violence, for human trafficking. Like, there's stigma surrounding all of that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
You can't go through anything. You know, nothing could have happened to you without someone talking shit. You know, you brought it on yourself. No, I don't think so.
Right. Exactly.
Another thing too, I want to point out. I was gonna do a show on this, but I want to mention it because it came to mind when you said, you know, people being negative. There are also people who will prey on people like us who talk about, you know, like things in our past. So they see us as or guys, like there are women, I'm sure, that go after guys, and you know he's weak, he's been damaged, he's hurt, I can take advantage of him and sleep with him, whatever.
Yep.
And then if you're female, look at her, she looks great now, but she's talking about how she used to do drugs and jump in and out of cars. I'm gonna fuck her. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm gonna
prey
her
on that weakness.
Right. So I just one thing I like to do is talk about, like, we're not, just because something happened to you or something was in your past, you don't have to live it now. So that's not who you are. And so shame on people who try to take advantage of people like us who are speaking because we're the strong ones trying to lead the way for other people, or shine a light so that people, and I always say, so that people know there's hope.
Yes.
Right? Like,
people
how did
find
you
their
feel
way
it?
to whatever.
I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know until I went to a meeting. Like, I was like, you know, I had to hear it from someone else. So, and I think about all the people that message me, you have such an inspiration, you helped me do this, la la la. And then I go, and I almost, when I hear that, I go, really?
Yeah. But
like
but that's the thing, like you found your purpose. Everything that you've gone through is for you to be right. But everything that you've gone through, as fucked up it was for you to go through, now is helping others,
and it's my calling.
That's right.
And
exactly.
It has been.
You're the voice for the people that don't have one.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we do this.
As are you.
Right. That's why we do this.
This is vital. It is vital that we talk about it.
Yeah, like
as much as
someone
you need to talk about it, and who cares who doesn't like it?
Like someone that can't get out of the house or can't get to the meeting, you know, like that's why we have this.
I care, and as far as you know, some people might be thinking that we're trying to like replace AA.
Who said that?
Nobody said that exactly, But
I want to know who said that.
No.
Hey!
No.
Listen, I still like to fight, so no, I don't. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
But-
she does CrossFit too. So,
but
watch it.
I just want to make sure that
But I
people
like
know
ice
that
cream
we're
sandwiches.
One is never enough.
You're right. 3, 5.
One is
I
too
say
many,
it-
thousands never.
I say it all the time. It doesn't
Sorry,
matter
I
from
didn't interrupt you.
That's all right.
from heroin to Haagen-Dazs. I will
Oh my
abuse
God,
it.
that's
I will
amazing.
abuse it. Absolutely.
Why
But-
does my stomach hurt now?
Yeah.
But the AA is the hospital and the treatment, that is best effective. This is the information that
Yes.
needs to be out there, so that the people who have crazy ideas in their head about themselves, which lead to shame. Shame is, so this is what I was told. Shame is, guilt is I've done something bad. Shame is I am something bad. And so that's toxic. That's what we need to
Right.
eliminate.
Right.
Because when you go around through life thinking that you are something bad, you are bad, then why? Well, who cares what you do? I deserve to be in jail anyway. I deserve to be dead. I deserve to be treated like this. And it's just not true. Because, we all start out as those children. We all start out as the wide-eyed child, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And innocent, and we're still that, plus a bunch of shit that was stuffed into us.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
And things that we were made to believe and made to be, and,
Yeah.
even if we didn't want to, you know.
And the way back is to drop the behaviors that come from all that crap and do the next thing. And and you go to the meetings and you do all, and you learn to recover, and you become a person of dignity and honor.
Mm-hmm.
And and
Respect.
and respect,
Yep.
self-respect.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and once you achieve that, and self-love, because we're Americans, we're going outside to get in. We're not going inside to get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
America. We gotta have
America.
shiny things.
McDonald's
Yeah.
and Budweiser.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
But
Egg whites and spinach. Egg
Yeah.
whites and spinach. Oh my God.
they can put spinach on a Big Mac.
You can put spinach in an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
You can put spinach on a donut.
Yep. Oh,
That's so disgusting.
don't even. I just seen gourmet donuts at the place I get my coffee, and I was
Oh
like,
man.
they were $3.50 a piece.
That's what I don't have a coffee.
Mm.
That is weird.
So,
Put 'em in the Twilight
all right, you
Zone.
have your book coming out in the spring,
Yes. So that book is called Like It's Normal. And
right? Which is
yeah.
that's what I read that in the post.
Yeah,
earlier.
that's what I've been, that book was supposed to come out a while ago. And my loving, darling little Jaden was born, and he was,
Yeah, we didn't
he
even
is-
get there.
we didn't talk about
We didn't even
Jaden.
get there. We're
So-
gonna have to have you back on now.
man. So, just quickly, so Jaden is my son, but Jaden is biologically my daughter's son. So he's my grandson, who I just adopted. And I've had him since birth. He's 3. But what was I just saying before that?
Thank you for doing that. That's a
Oh, your
wonderful
book.
thing.
Oh yeah.
It's supposed to come out.
So, he was born and he was sick his first year, very sick. So he needed a couple procedures, and he was on inhalers like twice a day, every day, like just 2 different kinds. And so he was pretty sick. And so I was writing the book at the time, and then I finished it, and it just, a whole bunch of stuff happened, and it got put on hold. And so I've been saying every year for the past 2 years, hey, the book's coming out this January. Hey, the book's coming
Yeah.
out. So now the book, listen, I swear, I promise this time. So I will gladly pay you Tuesday to publish your book today.
Yes.
Did you self-publish your last one, your first one, or did
Yeah.
you?
So
you did. Okay.
Well, so I went through a publishing company with them with the first book, and I'm
you did,
using
okay.
a different company. I'm using a different publisher this time, called Gatekeeper Press, and I like them. I was referred over to them by another author. And so that book is called Like It's Normal. It's about a girl, like we said, goes through some stuff. And so that'll be out this spring. And that's got some photos in it. It's pretty cool. And we had a good time creating.
And your previous book was
Nice.
called what again?
One Body, My Story of Trauma and Survival by Sarah.
And that's your story.
That's my story.
Non-fiction.
That's the real deal.
Nonfiction. That's like the gritty stuff that not all the stuff, because after a while I got like, it was draining. Like, it's great to talk about like trauma stuff, but like I have to like shut it off.
It's because I was recommended to go to therapy from the treatment center I was in, and I decided to go, and I go there and I tell my story to my therapist, and I feel more fucked up when I walked out of there than when I walked in.
Well, you do,
because you bring all that stuff up.
It's like writing a fourth step.
Yeah,
it's the same type of deal.
Exactly.
You're writing it, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, that's why you don't want to sit on that shit. Write it and talk about it and move on. You know.
And like I said, my soul basically forced me to write the book and go to. I also went to therapy because I had to.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe. I could not even, like, I was literally just choking on emotional pain.
Yeah. Every time I open my mouth, I would cry.
So, like, I don't take meds. So, and that, if people do, that's fine. But for me, I was like, I could not handle it. I didn't know what to do. And I didn't want to use, I didn't want to drink. I just was like, I got to fix this. This is something, there's something wrong.
So how do you feel about life now in general, day-to-day life now? What's the contrast like? What now that you've purged this and you come along, you're sober a long time?
I'm still insane,
but
it's okay. And I joke about it, but I still have, my brain spins all the time, right? Like, I think too much. But
I got a guy. Mike Gavoni.
Mikey
Gavoni.
Does he also
Shout out to Mikey
much?
Gavoni. He's a mindfulness teacher. He's unfriggin' real.
I like my insanity. See,
there you go. That's all I have left. Listen, you can't take everything. I gotta hang on to something. I gotta hang on to something. See
that though? But that's and I laugh. But that is, I'm very open and upfront about. I'm like, oh, mindfulness. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to lose my edge.
Right? I need my edge.
I hear you. I get it.
You can bliss out on that mindfulness stuff.
Maybe. I know. I'm getting there. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, when I went to therapy, like, I worked with a woman at first, and the only thing that gave me enough comfort was that if I ever hear anything that I tell this lady from anyone else, I'm going to fucking sue the shit out of her.
That's the journaling thing.
And that brought me comfort. And then she moved on, and I'm going
to kill this woman.
I ended up working with another guy who had never worked with an alcoholic, which I find very strange. Maybe a lot of people fucking lied, but
I don't drink.
I gave him a copy of the book. He read it. He was like, "Wow, this is really interesting." And he's like, "But this whole fourth step thing." He's like, "Did you now? If you think of something on there, do you still have a feeling attached to it?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." He's like, well, then you haven't processed it.
Wow.
And I went through this thing which is called EMDR, eye movement reprogramming and desensitization. I believe
heard of that.
With these little paddles in my hand, and like they vibrate, they alternate, and you got to move your eyes. But like that shit helped.
It's a reboot.
Yeah, it's like hitting restart on your computer.
That is very cool.
But it's in your brain. Because he was like, all right, think of that situation that you wrote down. If you've processed something, you shouldn't still feel the sadness or the disgust or anything. Pretty crazy.
So, I just speaking on that. So I've been thinking like the last few months how I used to like wake up at night.
Yeah, I know someone that can identify with that.
Like when I like feeling it like pounding in my chest. Now, or something will happen and I would go like this. Now, same kind of stuff. Or when I hear things like something, Jaden's sick, or something happens with my daughter, or I wake up in the middle of the night. I don't actually feel it. I just am aware of it.
So maybe you're just starting to trust the world a little bit.
Yeah.
No, we don't trust. No, I'm just kidding.
You've accepted that you can't fix it right at that moment, maybe.
Possibly. But I found that there's no, I don't actually feel it in my chest anymore.
Yeah. So it's progress. It's that must be a great relief. That's a gift of recovery.
Oh. Yeah, like it's
good stuff.
Waking up crippled with fear. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that going away either. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Although when Jaden was sick that last week when he was throwing up blood, I was like paralyzed, like moving, getting him ready to leave, but like just numb, going, okay, please God, don't let it be something really bad, because I've been through so many terrible, horrible things, and that's the thing with trauma is one new thing, and it's like whoosh,
everything comes rushing back.
All comes back,
right.
yeah.
Yep.
But you don't, in recovery, you don't freeze, you don't go in the bathroom and get high. You put your kid in the car, you take him to the hospital.
Yep.
Right?
Do the next right thing.
Right. The next, sometimes for me, like in that moment, it was next step, socks, shoes.
Yeah.
I was back in,
exactly.
like I had to, and
that's okay.
I was able to do that.
That's okay.
And that
That's
was fear
right.
for him. But when it comes to my kids, it's,
It's big.
oh, yeah.
All right, so you have the new book coming out in the spring. You have the Sarah Level Show.
Sarah Level Show.
Sarah
And
Level Show.
where can people find that one?
So originally, the Sarah Level Show was on radio, and then Jaden was born, so I left. And now I am. So we're building I'm currently having the website built, and by Square One Company. Shout out to Joe Diaz, who's doing my stuff.
Yep,
and
Joe Diaz.
That thanks to Derek Quirk,
comedian?
because he
No.
thanks to Derek Quirk because he referred me to him, and he's doing all my branding and marketing.
Yes.
So he's building the website. So you'll be able to find it. It's on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel, The Sarah Level Show.
Yes,
Sarah
I've
Level Show
watched the
YouTube channel,
videos.
okay.
It's a new channel, so we're trying to build it. So please subscribe to the Sarah Level Show's YouTube channel and Facebook as well.
Yep.
It has its own Facebook.
Yeah, because you have your personal page, and
correct.
there's also another page.
I have my personal page, Sarah Level, and then the Sarah Level Show, and I also have a Patreon, which is like hasn't picked up. It's almost you like host your podcast on it.
Yeah,
it didn't take off.
We've discussed it. So you can monetize things.
Yeah, you can monetize, but you
can
also
people can give like $1 or something if they like the show or whatever.
So it's really like low. It's like I like busy, right? So I like it to be. It's like Twitter. Like Twitter's kind of for me. Twitter's like it's not doing anything. I still post the stuff up there because some people will like but I have to try to move people over, and then I'm on LinkedIn as well, but they don't do a live stream and you can't so we're going to host it on the website, basically the website, the YouTube, and the Facebook. So that's its home right now.
And if someone wants to contact you, do you have an email?
I do have an email. It's stlevel 2@gmail.com. So stlevel2@gmail.com, or you can shoot me a message on the Sarah Level Show Facebook.
Yep.
And
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, and we are the Life on Life's Terms podcast.
Yes. LOLTerms.com.
Please subscribe.
Like, subscribe, share. I would love to have you back on.
I would.
Yeah, we could
be more
definitely
than
get
happy to come
deeper into
back.
your story. Sorry, we're just
it's just too many things. There's so
too many things.
Yeah.
to
If something
talk about.
occurs to me, I like to say it, because otherwise I could sit very quiet. I shared this in this meeting. It's like I can sit and just listen.
Right.
I'm someone who could just sit and listen and not say anything, but this is not the place to do that.
No, that's not why we
Headphones on and a mic in front of you. You have to talk.
And I like the way that happens, because a lot of times things get talked about that normally
things come
wouldn't.
out.
Yeah.
That's right.
And there's a reason for that. There's a reason that it comes to mind, and so it's important to talk about it at the moment.
And all in all, great podcast. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yes, and like I always say, if anyone wishes to come on the podcast, message me, message Tom, message the page itself. We're very responsive. I think we have like a 31-second time frame. Yes, 31 second, which is pretty responsive. So,
all right.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. We will definitely have
Awesome.
you back on
Thank you for having me.
Get a little deeper.
Peace, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.